right. Welcome back. Episode 19. Getting close.
Yeah.
Getting close to 20.
Milestones here, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would have thought? My entire life culminated to this moment.
I mean, it's just kind of unfortunate that we've missed the window on trading our butts for getting famous.
Yeah, no shit.
Because now P. Diddy is 86th.
Yeah.
It's a sad day.
If somebody had told your 16-year-old self that if they fucked you a couple times, they would have given you like a portion of the Toronto Raptors, would you have done it?
As like
I mean, when we're 16 too, that's like Vince Carter Raptors. Like, hell yeah, I would have fucking done it.
dude, the homophobia runs deep on this side of the podcast, if you haven't noticed by now. And I don't think I would never even would have considered. Like, that brings me, I remember one time my
Hold up, you wouldn't have considered being the minority owner of a fucking basketball franchise to get
like,
fucked in the ass?
No way.
Dude, there's dudes,
I couldn't process it.
There's guys who get fucked in the ass for like a fucking dinner out at TGI Fridays right now. You couldn't fucking take one for the team for a multi-billion-dollar entity?
Don't be talking about TGI Fridays like that. Are they even open anymore?
Yeah, there's fucking Fridays and
I
shit.
don't know. I feel like they closed. They closed the one on over by us.
Oh fuck, did they?
There's not one by the airport anymore. There's
They've got to still be around. They're dying, yeah, but like, but they'll like limp along for like another decade. You hear they just fucking closed like I think the second to last Kmart or something. You remember Kmart?
Wow. Yeah, I remember Kmart.
Yeah, well, that's the same thing, dude. That company like might as well have not existed for the past 25 fucking years, but like they've been holding on. I bet you there's still like a TGI Friday in like Gary, Indiana or something. That's it, you know.
Dude, there was a time where like Friday's bar program they were meant
fucking
something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it was like a
flair bartending. Like they fucking
not even just like flair bartending. Like I remember like I still have a few of them. Like the books that they would give you they'd be like that thick between like their recipes and they'd have a bunch of other like classic recipes in there and stuff. Like it was like a bar program to kind of be proud of taking part in at the time where they were at. You know,
you're not gonna get me off track though. You wouldn't have fucking anal sex just to own the fucking Toronto Raptors?
No way.
You're out of your mind.
No way. Especially not.
What are you afraid of? Are you afraid you're gonna come?
Yes. Especially not as a 16-year-old.
I feel like at 16, that's definitely when I would have done it.
That probably would have had a direct trajectory on my life. You know what I mean? Like.
You would have become Justin Bieber? What a fucking tragedy.
I don't know. I feel like somebody would have convinced me to be gay instead.
I mean, I feel like if you're that easily convinced, then you probably are
how
just
much
gay.
experience at 16 did I really have? You know what I mean? Some fucking old man rapist who owns a team is probably going to do things to me that my little 16-year-old brain just couldn't even comprehend.
Yeah, maybe. I guess. That reminds me. Remember the Theo Von? Have you ever seen the Theo Von clip where like some like caller or whatever is like talking about how he was like 16 and was fucking like a 45-year-old woman? No, you didn't. Well, so the caller is like, hey, they're in that conversation. He's just like, yeah, well, when I was 16, I was sleeping with an older woman. She was like 45, and I think it might have been Tim Dillon it was Tom Segura with him. And Tom Segura was, oh yeah, how was it? And Theo Von just cuts in and he's just like, how was it? He was molested.
Yeah, actually, I do get shades of this again. That's funny. I had my wife listen to, I think this is actually how I found Tom Segura. Ari Shafir used to have a show.
Yeah.
Where like you would get up like on a bar and like tell your story.
Yeah. Shit, what the hell is it called? It's called, it's like Last Night or like it's something like that.
Something the Crazy Night Out or something. Yeah. And it's Tom Segura appearing on that, and he's telling this story about his first Thanksgiving back from college. So he's coming back to his hometown after his freshman, and he's like, it's basically like the first like class reunion. Like everybody went off to college, and now they're back together in your hometown for the first time. He's like, so I find, the guy that never went to school, he's the drug dealer in town now. And he's like, I've already taken ecstasy on the night and had a bunch of drinks. He's like, so eventually the guy's like, fine, I got some GHB in my car. I haven't broken it down yet. It's still in like a gallon. And he's like, so he takes me to his car and he's like, I'm used to getting GHB like in water bottles and you just pour into the little cap. And like, that's the dosage that you take. And he's like, I know what you're thinking. I never raped anybody. He's like, but I drugged myself a lot.
Yeah.
And I forgot what he calls it. He said he just gave him like the smiles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he's like, so he gives me the gallon, and I'm not used to pouring a gallon. The cap is different. He's like, so I just tried. He's like, I pour it in my mouth, and he's like, so now I accidentally have like 9
million hits,
9 doses in me, and he's like, I got 2 options. He's like, I spit it back in the bottle, and he's like, I know he's not gonna think that's cool, and he's like, or. He's like, I spit it out on the ground, and he's like, I don't know why I didn't think to do that, but he's just like, I swallow it, and he's like, I go back into the bar, and I am looser than a motherfucker. He's like, whoa! And he's like, I remember sitting down, and my girlfriend at the time sat down on my lap, and that's it. And he's like, I wake up, with the lights shining on me and everything, and they're like, hey, Tom, you are waking up from an overdose on the most scattered drug palette that we've ever seen in our lives. And I don't know, he's just like telling this story about how I guess people make GHB. I don't know. I've never been exposed to this drug. One of the few.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be like a chemical thing, right? Like a fucking
but I guess they just make it like in a
cocktail,
a bathtub and bottle it up. Like the whole time I'm thinking they have some type of like prior dark web experience, like you ordering the fucking or your friends ordering the the stuff that's in NyQuil.
Yeah.
But
I feel like a lot of those drugs, especially in like the 2000s and 90s, like people like took them inherently being like, well, somebody who knows what they're doing must have been in charge of putting this together. It's like, newsflash, no, they do not know what they were doing.
All.
Yeah.
So the doctor's like, your drug tests came back positive for like PCP, heroin, cocaine, GHB, like all this stuff. And he's like, real nice that like your friend like put all that stuff in the GHB. And I'm like, in my head the whole time, I'm like, you're leaving out a massive part of this story that we need to talk about on this podcast. And that's the fact that this drug cocktail didn't come from the GHB, you stupid doctor. It came from the ecstasy.
Yeah.
Like all of that good stuff was in the ecstasy. It was not in the GHB.
Yeah,
that heroin. And the doctor also was like, "There's household chemicals." So it's like, it's the fucking ecstasy, dude. Like, I don't understand.
Like you're not getting pure MDMA, pal.
Yeah, and this is in like 1998 or something. I think he told the story, but basically he asked it. So the story gets to the end. He asked the doctor, like, "Well, how did I live?" And the doctor's like, "Basically, because you're fat." He was like, this dose would have killed a 120-pound person, but because you're fat,
because you're 260, you're here today.
You made it through. So congratulations.
I mean, how do you not eat at a fucking Burger King every time you pass one now? Like at that point, it's just like I was
like an ode.
Yeah, exactly. It's just insulating myself from future poor decisions.
We've talked about this, but I wanted to hate on Burger King just now when you said it and be like, how could you ever? And then I just started thinking about Burger King breakfasts.
I've never eaten a Burger King breakfast.
I don't know, man. It probably sucks now, but there was a time in my life where like Burger King breakfast was the bomb. Like I would pick Burger King breakfast over McDonald's breakfast every time if it was available.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, don't they have a croissant? They had like a sausage, egg, and cheese on a croissant or a bacon, egg, and cheese on a croissant.
Yeah.
I don't think McDonald's does that. McDonald's has like egg McMuffin.
Yeah, they have the McMuffin.
No fucking croissants, bro.
Right.
Croissant.
I think if you're eating fast food though, anytime before 10:30 in the morning, you're probably, I don't know, not long for this world.
I don't know, man. I feel like once I got my license, or once my friend, like my boy Peter used to pick me up for school before I got my license. We go to McDonald's breakfast all the time.
Yeah,
every day.
Well, I guess that's their target market then.
And then we would go and get Taco Bell at lunch every day.
Yeah,
and I would throw up every day.
So much like P. Diddy, McDonald's entire like branding campaign was based around targeting 16-year-old boys.
Yep, and making them gag.
Yep. Oh,
that's
Diddy.
a wild. I mean, I guess it's not so wild. Like I've been hearing these rumors for a long time now.
Oh, with Diddy?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he was always wrapped up in that like R. Kelly shit, you know.
I never knew anything about the R. Kelly, but I've been hearing stuff about like.
How did you not hear about the R. Kelly shit? R. Kelly, I feel like has been going on for even longer.
No, about like Diddy being connected to that.
Oh, well, yeah, it's all the fucking industry, you know.
Well, that I agree with that.
Yeah,
but I feel like
if you make it in like showbiz at this point, you're either taking or you're receiving. It's like It's one or the other, you know.
Does it tie? Is showbiz and music and all this stuff that we're looking at now? Is it just conspiracy theory level arm of the fucking who's the dude that
I don't know.
I'm losing everybody. There's a guy who's a musician from back in the day that has kids with all funny names.
Oh, Zappa. Yeah, Dweezil and
he's,
fucking...
what is he? Oh, he refers to it as the military-industrial complex. Like, so is Hollywood just like an arm of like the military-industrial complex where they're just like distracting us with all of this shit, and they're like handpicking these people, you know?
Well, I mean,
like,
I think whenever you're in a position of power, or whenever a shitty person is in a position of power, you're gonna get shit like this all the time. It's, you know, honestly, if you're Diddy and like you spent the better part of whatever your sexual proclivities are, whatever. But if you spent the better part of 2 decades being able to do literally whatever the fuck you wanted to, like, people, like, without any repercussions whatsoever, like, yeah, this shit's gonna happen, dude. Like, could you imagine what you have to do in order for, like, Diddy to get turned on? Like, what do you have to do? He has seen everything. He's done everything. Like, the amount of, like, just horrible shit that, like, people have probably done to him, in front of him, with him, is probably, like, God, man, it probably turns your stomach. But it's like, I don't know, man. At what point in time is it, like, is enough, you know?
Yeah,
there's just constantly horizons to be crossing, you know?
I get how it can be, like sex and drugs can, like, occupy the same space and, like, same, like...
it's all addiction, you know?
Like, same faults in your life and stuff like that.
I mean, how many times have you taken, you know, if you're fucking dropping 3 tabs of acid on the regular, and then all of a sudden that one day you're like, let's bump it up to 5. Now all of a sudden you're taking 4 on the regular. You know what? Let's push it. Let's see if I could take 6. Now all of a sudden you're taking 5, 6 on the regular, and it's like, when is enough?
Yeah.
You know? It's the same thing with sex, dude. It's like, dude, yeah, well, you know, throw a finger in there, see what happens. Then before you know it, dude, you're getting, like, fucking plowed by, like, a fucking 14-inch fucking, you know, big black rubber dildo, and you're like, how did I get to here, you know? I mean, that's what happens.
How did we get to here?
You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I definitely suffer from, like, an addictive personality and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'll definitely take drugs to the max and stuff like that. But I mean, I've been having the same boring regular sex for the last fucking 25 years. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying though. To me, it just doesn't register of like, oh my god, like you let fucking sex ruin your life. Like
look, man, I'm not telling you that that Diddy is should be condoned to fucking have sex with 16-year-old Justin Bieber. All I'm saying though is I can at least understand the mentality of like how shit like that happens.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a dark, slippery slope. You know, it's like anything else. Like
I remember seeing stuff years ago. Like some dude, like you would have called him like a crazy person at this point. Like this is way before Cat Williams, way before all this other shit comes out. And he said that he was at a Diddy party and like opened the wrong door and he saw Diddy fucking the dad from Family Matters.
Oh shit! Yeah, do you think that's true now?
And then yeah. And then he said something to the effect of like, "There's no greater feeling than like making somebody do something for money."
Yeah.
So like Carl Winslow or whatever his name is, he must have been down and out, needed to pay his mortgage or some shit.
Fuck.
And like Diddy was like,
came to the wrong motherfucker for help.
Let me get that butt and fucking I'll pay your house off or something. You know.
That reminds me though of a. You remember those like scared straight things or whatever they used to put on TV? I remember one where they were talking to like, one of the guys who on the inside was like the guy who could get things, a facilitator, who's like selling drugs and shit and whatever. And people would, then the interviewer was like, yeah, well, like, if a inmate comes to you and they want, X, Y, and Z, but they don't have the money to get it, like what, like, do you make them do anything like sexual? He's like, yeah, I make them toss my salad. And they're like, yeah, like, there's nothing else, like no other sexual gratification, just literally tossing your salad. And he's like, yeah, because when you're tossing salad, you can't pretend that shit is anything else but tossing salad. It's like, fuck, man. Like, that's some fucking wild shit. Like, at that point in time, you're not even enjoying it. You're just like, yeah, lick my asshole and I'll give you some shit.
No, you are enjoying it. You're like enjoying the power.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, it's,
they got the right guy in jail.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
Do you see that some dude that just got like lethally injected or whatever, and there was like no DNA evidence, no this, no that.
Yeah.
And like all these guys in the hip hop community were like putting up a stink about it. it.
Oh, word. Was he like one
And
of those? Yeah, but they were trying to like get him out or something?
Yeah, but that's crazy. Like, how are you going to put somebody down when you don't have any DNA evidence or any like?
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's what they did for like 120 years.
Yeah,
you know,
you got to knock it off though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we do have DNA evidence at this point. So what was it? Was it like a? Do you know anything about the case? Or? No. All right.
Didn't bother to look it up.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of times though, when you know, not that I don't trust rappers' judgment on criminal proceedings, but a lot of the times when you look it up, you're like, oh, okay, this guy probably did it.
I don't know where he lost me. Like I saw like another thing, like they showed like his. I guess they give you a piece of paper and they're like, "What's your like last statement or something?"
Yeah,
and he just wrote some shit about Allah, and I was like, "All right, I fucking don't care about you anymore."
Yeah, at that point, it's like, well, go get your 72 virgins.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Go hang out with the fucking guys that did 9/11, you fucking dirtbag.
Bring your box cutter. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know. We just keep talking about that shit, but like, you're gonna have like 5 guys with box cutters against like a whole plane, and like
back to 9/11.
Yeah,
all right, here we go, guys.
People are just worried about getting cut when the 5 guys are gonna try to crash a plane. I don't understand.
Well, I mean, I don't think I think they thought it was a like a hostage situation kind of thing where there were demands being.
Yeah. Somebody brought up.
I think if somebody said, well, actually, yeah, because that was the whole fucking thing with the last plane. I mean, whatever you want to believe, the one that didn't get to actually crash into the Pentagon, but that was why supposedly they didn't.
Oh man, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
There's one that just crashed, right?
Yeah, well, it crashed like before it got there.
I bet you there's no wings in that crash evidence photos either, bro.
Well, anyway, so fucking that was just it though. That they fucking what was I saying? Yeah, they were on the phone with like their wife or something, who was then telling them like two planes just crashed into the fucking Trade Center, and that was then why that one ended up getting
yeah.
What is that, Flight 91 or whatever the fuck it was?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw these guys riffing on something, and they were like, I want to see like the 9/11 episode for the sitcoms that take place in New York City.
Yeah, the one for like Friends and shit.
Friends, and the Friends one was funny because they were saying that Chandler would have been the guy that like worked at the World Trade Center and like didn't go to work that day or whatever. And then the one about Seinfeld was even better. They're like, no, Kramer's like the guy that took the plane down that didn't make it. Like they were saying he would have been the one to like overtake the crowd.
Yeah,
which is pretty funny. Jerry Seinfeld has like a show.
Like a new show?
Yeah, I don't know if it's new. Isn't it like car riding cars with comedians
coffee,
or some shit?
Yeah.
But I feel like he recently had Kramer on there, like trying to get him like out of like the doghouse.
PR?
Yeah. But I don't know. Kramer was just very nice and like said pretty much that like he never would have been anything without Jerry giving him that chance, and he feels really bad that he like almost shamed Jerry in a way.
Yeah.
But Jerry Seinfeld definitely gave up that butt.
You think?
I don't know. What's up? Did we talk about how there's the pictures with him and like that 17-year-old?
Oh well, that's what I'm saying. It's the other way for him. I think.
I don't know. I think
he got to the top and probably was just like, oh, cool. Now I can just date 16-year-olds.
You're not into it unless you experienced it first, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
The whole thing is crazy because isn't like the I swear, man, there's something with like Hollywood having like spies in it.
What do you mean? Like actual like spies for governments? Like espionage?
Yeah,
shit?
like they're like people are placed there as like distractionary measures as part of like, you know what I mean? It's just another ring of the Roman circus.
Right.
And like the same, like isn't like Ghislaine Maxwell's father like heavily involved in like Mossad, which is like Israel's like CIA or FBI or whatever?
Oh, I have no idea. Probably.
I think
they're all.
I think they all have like Hollywood connections too.
Yeah. Well, you were saying, who was it? Like Ghislaine Maxwell's
dude, I saw
sister's married to Fauci or something?
Yeah, like I saw something like that where like Fauci is like
Is that confirmed?
I haven't done any more research on it, but Fauci's like a descendant or the son of like Mother Teresa or something like that.
Well, I don't think that's true.
Dude, I didn't think any of this is true, but then they produced these photos of like Mother Teresa and Ghislaine Maxwell's father being in the same room together. And I don't know, dude. It's just great. Like, and then I guess there's this whole other conspiracy theory on how Mother Teresa was really like heavily involved in like child trafficking. So like all those pictures of her like with those kids is really her. Just like,
really?
I'm telling you, bro.
I mean, she was, She's a representative of the biggest child traffickers in the world, fucking church. So
Yeah.
Dr. Christine Grady. Who are you?
You got to put her through. You got to put her through the face scan that guy's doing. This new Facebook guy that's coming up in my algorithm. He's the same guy that says Jim Morrison just evolved into Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, I mean that one is ridiculous.
How do you?
All right, so fact check from Reuters. Dr. Christine Grady is not Ghislaine Maxwell's sister.
Yeah, so. Reuters would say something like that.
All right. I mean, I'll take their word for it.
I don't know.
There's birth records they can unearth.
Yeah. This is all coming from somebody who drinks tap water, though. That's that's the first. The first part of mind control.
Yeah.
Flowing through Brennan's veins right now.
Yeah.
I'm playing with this too much.
Yeah. It's all right. Yeah, you're witnessing our new layout, guys, too. Just so you know, we're gonna be doing some fucking reno in this bitch.
Yeah, look at this. This is the first show with 2 cameras, right?
Yeah, look at us.
Split screening.
Hold on.
That is crazy to think about. Like looking at this, like when you look at yourself in the mirror,
yeah,
like it's always
I'm almost fucked up.
It's always like an inverse image of yourself.
Yeah,
but you're not really looking at yourself. You're looking at
a reflection of yourself.
Yeah, but that reflection is like a weird backwards mirror image, right?
Yeah.
You know? Because when you go to point that thing in the mirror that you're looking at, you're always crossing over.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
It's deep shit.
It's weird, bro.
Yeah.
It's like another dimension, the multiverse.
Totally, dude. Yeah. What else is new?
I mean, I've been seeing a lot of these fucking 20-foot skeletons in everybody's yard, bro. I feel like you're the Halloween Meister. Are you going to
I am, but right now my whole fucking house is like under construction.
So what? You're going to miss out on being the Halloween dad this year because of the project?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll still do some shit, but it won't be as fucking crazy as I usually do.
What type of slave labor did you have to force your sons into about getting a family of 5's garage vacated to knock it down?
Oh, I did all that. Nobody does shit in my house with me. Yeah.
You didn't make the boys pony up and do nothing?
No.
They're like not of age to like move anything meaningful.
Honestly, all they do is just piss me off whenever they try to help me. So it's just like, just get the fuck out of the way. I'll do it. Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
It just turns into me like ruining my relationship with my middle son. It's basically anytime I ask for help, that's what it turns into. Is me holding a fucking 10-year-old by the arm being like, why the fuck do you make me do this? I don't know. I love my kids, but they're eventually going to kill me.
What about, you ever see that dad that like runs over his son's obviously more of a video gamer than anything, and he like
runs over all of his video games and shit.
Lawnmower.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I wish I could do that. At this point in time, there's no such thing as like video games anymore. It's all like fucking YouTube, and it's all like downloaded straight to their thing. It's like, I don't know, man. They're fucking, this whole generation of kids is just going to be straight nihilists. Like, they don't give a fuck about anything. Like, God bless us.
What don't they care about?
Nothing. Like, I can't get them to do anything. Like, no, they don't, no movies, no fucking, like, even cool video games. It's like, oh, this is Tony Hawk. Come play this shit. No interest. It's like, if it's not Roblox or Robux or whatever the fuck it's called, and YouTube videos of.
So they just want to be like in the tablet.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
Do we have 3D at this house yet? Or
the Meta?
That's called?
Oh, yeah, we got the Meta. Yeah.
What's the Meta?
That's the fucking.
That's a headset?
Yeah, the VR shit. Yeah.
But it's called Meta, like from Facebook?
Yeah, that's what it is. Facebook makes that shit.
Holy Christ, bro. They really are going to fucking get us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're all a bunch of sociopaths. So.
Yeah, I haven't tried any of that yet. I tried it one time, I think, when we were in Vegas, and it was like a fucking shooter game. And I don't think I processed.
Did you get a murder boner?
A what?
A murder boner?
No, no murder boners. I didn't get my Mike Tyson on. But I think I just basically like I lost track. Immediately I lost track of the fact that I'm not
in the video game.
No, I was in the video game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I like take off running, and they give you like this little box to stand in. You know what I mean? And I just fucking my headset came off, and I just fucking crashed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've watched one of my kids like fucking slam their hand into like the fucking coffee table or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're like throwing a football like 60 yards. Meanwhile, they're like in like a 4-foot fucking area of my living room. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, the first time I did it, there's like a fucking football game. Do you feel like you're like under center, but like you're there? So I'm like dropping back to pass, and I go back to throw a bomb, and I fucking throw a bomb, and I literally like smash my hand into my fucking
like the ceiling fan light or whatever.
I was like, oh fuck, you know. But first down. So
first down,
man.
First down.
Move the
Detroit
sticks.
Lions.
Move the sticks.
Megatron.
I believe it was a Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, it's more recent.
Yeah. It's a good one, though.
Does Madden have the ability where you can like make up whatever team you want?
Yeah.
Like with all the legends.
Oh, I don't know.
Make up like a legendary team.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played like a Madden franchise in for fucking ever, but it used to be like I remember we used to do like our own like make our own team and shit, but I don't know about Legends.
I think they have like a legends mode now where like you play like the all the little side quests in the game to like unlock whoever.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can make straight up be like, all right, I want like Emmitt Smith and I want Terrell Owens and Randy Moss and whoever. I think that'd be fire.
Yeah.
That would be a way to get me back into playing the game again.
Yeah.
Like if you could be like, I feel like you could bet on that. You'd be like, oh, you think you're fucking gonna? You think you're bringing Edelman in here, bro?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I play Madden sometimes with the kids, but yeah, they're not into it.
I feel like that'd be another great opportunity for like a troll. I've been watching those troll videos a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that guy that goes into like the NASCAR, like live NASCAR races. But I feel like that'd be funny, like if you play Madden and you show up with like an all fucking white, like the white boy football team, and you just get everybody.
You just try and beat people with Wayne Corbett. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you like say mean things too.
Yeah.
Like that one dude on like chat roulette who's just like unapologetically racist. I don't know how he's ever gonna get a job.
Yeah, I mean that seems like it's gonna be a hurdle for him to climb.
I think that is his job. He's just making money on selling his five fucking shitty racist jokes.
Yeah. What about the fucking? You see the Oakland A's are gone now. Finally, like they played their last game at the fucking Coliseum. They're moving to Vegas, right?
Yeah, but I thought that was like a wedding or a Big Daddy plan. I thought that was like a 5-year plan.
Yeah, but they're like moving to Sacramento or something next year or something for like 3 years.
They're not going to Vegas.
Yeah, but they're done at the Coliseum. They're out of the Coliseum. What a fucking shitty owner that dude was. I don't understand how the fuck everyone isn't just like completely just shitting all over that guy.
Yeah, I don't know how like there isn't more of like a like a pushback from the fellow owners or like a checks and balances, if you will, built into it to where they're like, we don't like what you're doing with this. And
well, because at the end of the day, it is all about money. And I'm sure Vegas brings in a whole other revenue stream that Oakland just can't compete with. But at the same time, it's like, well, maybe people would have actually gone to your fucking games if you didn't just roll out like the most dog shit team for fucking 40 fucking years, you know? Like the last time that they actually put money into that franchise was like 1989, you know? It's like, you guys are pieces of shit. And they had some like fucking cool teams to root for. Like, could you imagine if like those fucking early 2000s teams that had like Tejada and fucking Zito and Mulder and Hudson, like if they were able to like keep those teams together, they would have fucking won a World Series, you know? But instead they just would like fucking sell everybody off and then every like 6 years be okay with like a fucking getting swept in the divisional round of the playoffs.
I just think that's like the way that it's set up, like as an owner, you're able to partake essentially like you can be I don't care. I'm getting my piece of the revenue sharing.
Yeah.
Like this is just a business. I'm not trying to spend any extra money. I'm not trying to be over the cap. I'm not trying to pay any type of luxury tax.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm talking about. Like, how do you have ownership that isn't passionate? Like, or are you ever going to have like, are the majority of the owners passionate?
Yeah.
I don't know if they are. Like,
I would say they definitely aren't.
And I think they kind of go in like.
I mean, you can even like look at the Patriots. I think the Patriots kind of just lucked into having Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, but you could absolutely make the argument that Robert Kraft does not give one fuck if he actually wins anything.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, no, but they I think there was a point where they did care, right? And now they've like built their empire. They've, you know what I mean? They've built their big cathedral. They've invested all their money,
but
and now they're just gonna coast it out.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with the Red Sox, Patriots. Like they've all, you know what I mean? They've all created this tourist trap destination kind of thing, and they're making their money, and I don't think that either one of those guys are ever going to be fully invested in getting after it again.
Yeah, I don't even know if they were ever actually invested in the first place. I think Robert Kraft built a scenario where luckily he was winning, which was cool, I'm sure, for him.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if he did anything or actually gave a shit enough to actually continue to do that. You know what I mean?
I think he fostered a personal relationship with Brady that made him want to stay and made him think that the owner eventually had his back, through thick and thin. But eventually,
yeah, but I think
because they moved off of Brady before they moved off of Bill.
Well, I was going to say, I just think that's basically just he got lucky enough to have a naive quarterback and an absolute maniac of a head coach.
Yeah.
So I
think the quarterback at the end of the day knew that coach was going to get the best out of him.
Yeah. But like how many years, countless years did fucking Tom Brady continuously take less money than market value? And then where did all of that money go? Because it didn't all go into the team.
Dude, I'd really love to be like doing a deep dive on that, because I say that all the time. Like, people bring up the fact like, oh, he took all these pay cuts and blah, blah, blah. Like, they kind of like use it against him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, he had this model wife. He was able to do it. And it's like, all right, well, show me the players that they ever went and really got with those discounts that Brady
the only
the
only one I can think of is Revis. But even then, that was Revis at his peak. When I think they only paid him like a 2-year deal for like 20 or something.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's like, he got paid, but it was like, wasn't anything crazy and it wasn't anything long term.
He got paid for 1 year, bro. It was like a contract of the void year.
Yeah,
you know
that's what I'm saying.
It was always something shady. Like,
yeah, there wasn't anything really like high risk about that. Like I feel like Brady was just taking like half the money every year, and like, I don't know, man. I didn't see anywhere the fuck that ended up on the field.
I'm telling you, I can't think of, as a Patriots fan who was like tuned in at that time more than I ever was.
And if anything, Brady being there, taking that discount, allowed them to go to all the other players and say, well, you got to take a discount too, because that's what Tom's doing. Yep. So it's like, not only do you get the money that Tom was fucking leaving on the table, but you got money from the other probably... Well, not everybody, because a lot of guys were on like rookie deals and shit and whatever. But I mean, you probably got like 6 or 7 other guys to buy into that Patriot bullshit, where it's like, all right, I'll take less. I'll take $2 or $3 million less than this is probably market value. Well, you're talking like fucking $30 million a year. Where the fuck was that money going? Like, it wasn't on that team,
I don't know.
I think they, like I said, I think they were lucky to win, and I think Robert Kraft obviously would prefer to win, but I don't think he gave a shit either way. I think he just lucked into a good situation.
Yeah, I mean,
where he was enabled to win.
Inherently, you're making more money if you're winning.
Yeah,
especially if you own your place. You know what I mean? Like, all the stuff that he built up around Patriot Place and everything like that. Like, there's no way that he didn't create more income off of that winning. But now that you've all built it and everything like that, what's really, you know what I mean? Like, you've built your house essentially. Like, now you can just coast off into retirement.
Well, that and also, like, you make more money when you're winning, sure, but you also are spending more money when you're winning. So it's kind of like, it's, and that you don't know if you're going to win going into a season. So there's the risk of it, where it's like, yeah, I could spend X amount of dollars and maybe win, and I'll make, Z amount of dollars. But if I don't fucking win, I'm going to make fucking Q amount of dollars. I
mean, I think a better way to look at this is what the pickle that the Golden State Warriors are in right now.
Yeah,
because they're like so into the luxury tax, it's not even funny, and they're like so far away from being able to compete.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you're basically just like, I don't know. To me, they're like I think Danny Ainge phrased it when he traded like Pearson Garnett away. He was like, if we would have done that to me and Larry and everybody else, we could have sustained a future. But instead, they just let us wither away and dive bomb.
Yeah, that's why the entire 90s he didn't do anything.
And now, essentially, like, Golden State has, it's just Steph Curry now, and it's like they're still in cap dilemma and all this. No shot at really winning. It's just like, the next 5 years or whatever, or however long Steph's contract is, 4 years, it's just basically the fans showing up to see him on, like, a retirement tour, pretty much.
Right.
Like...
That's fucking crazy that he's getting to that age already.
He already is. He should be out already. He's like fucking 30 something.
Yeah, it's a new NBA though. Like, guys can play longer because they don't play as hard. Like, and they take fucking, for every 10 games, they fucking take 2 of them off. You know,
well, it's like, not to turn this into an entire sports podcast or anything like that, but essentially now that Steph doesn't have a bigger bodied in his prime Klay Thompson to take the heat off of him, he can't get his own shot.
Yeah.
If you double him, like,
yeah,
well,
it's like the
before you couldn't do that. There was too much other firepower.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now it's just him.
Yeah. But I mean, he'll still get his numbers because he is the only guy who can take a shot on that team.
Yeah.
That's like the fucking Charles Barkley shit where he was like, somebody was asking him who was better, him or Duncan, and he was like, man enough to be like, Tim Duncan is the best power forward of all time. And to which they said, like, well, no, I mean, if you look at the numbers, like, he was like, no, numbers are like, a lot of guys are studio gangsters, they call them. The guys who, like, they're the only guy on a bad team and somebody's got to score, So, yeah. So, I mean, in that regard, I think Steph Curry's still a great player. I think his numbers from here on out are probably just going to be hollow,
That's a crazy thing to think about bringing that Spurs team up, is that if Ray Allen doesn't hit that shot, Tim Duncan retires with as many rings as Michael Jordan, and like what? LeBron has
one less.
Yeah. One less, but I feel like there's some other like implication to it as well. I forget what it is, but massive shot in the sway of things, like.
Yeah.
Because what does LeBron have now? Does he have 5? Or does he have 4?
He's got 2 with the Cavs.
He's got 4. No, he's got 1 with the Cavs, he's got 2 with the Heat, and he's got 1 with the Lakers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he's got 4.
And even then, he had the Lakers one's an asterisk because it's the fucking 2020 bubble year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think that one's probably a lot of people say that that's like a layup or whatever, but I feel like it had to be.
It's like a 40-game regular season, wasn't it?
I don't know, but it had to be difficult to like get everybody to tune in.
I feel like that plays to his advantage though. Because I think at that point in time,
guys on his team that weren't tuned in either, So you had to like fight that battle of like being like, I don't know, like getting those guys to buy in.
Yeah, I don't know. I think basketball sucks anyway now. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think basketball sucks, and like I don't like where football's going, but I also feel like it's such like it. I don't know. As like buying more and more into the conspiracy theories lately, it's like everything about football is terrible for the person playing football.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the stats
without
are out.
a doubt.
Like you're turning your brain into fucking jelly for like the age of 6 until the age of, when do you flame out on an unsuccessful NFL career? You're done by 25.
Yeah.
Like, so for at least 2 decades of your life, you're getting into like these high impact collisions. You're killing your knees. You're killing your back. All this other stuff. And like there's all this evidence that it's terrible, and we're still like, let's load up another generation, get them to get out there. Like,
and honestly, it's best case scenario if you're an NFL athlete, because that's the thing. A lot of people say like, oh well, I would do that to make X amount of fucking X million dollars, and I absolutely would too. Let's just be clear. If somebody offered me a fucking 1-day contract to just go get annihilated for fucking, 4 quarters at a fucking Patriots game, and they're just like, we'll give you $1 million and you'll just live the rest of your life as a fucking vegetable, like, I'd consider it, But for you're talking about like a 0.0003% of the football players who make it to that level. I had a bar regular back when I used to work in like that suburban Boston area, and his son was an offensive lineman on like a D1 school. Not a huge D1 school, but like like you've heard of this school. Like they have played in bowl games, not like for national championships though. But he played for them, and it was his sophomore year though, where he started to kind of like act erratic kind of thing. And, it got ugly. It was like, he was like outside of the fucking house, like screaming up at the house in the middle of the night, at his dad being like, fuck you, dad, let me in, blah, blah, blah. And like they didn't do it because they were like afraid of this kid at this point. And he ends up killing himself. And it's like, dude, that was a fucking 20-year-old kid who was like 100% CTE, like on a fucking college program. And it's like, and he wasn't trying, like I said, he played D1, so he's going to end up being like, probably a guy who had like a bunch of stories to tell you about playing D1 football, but was probably going to be like a fucking, insurance salesman in fucking, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Like he wasn't going to be like he wasn't going first round of the fucking Steelers, you know. But there's fucking for every one NFL player, there's fucking 10,000 of those guys, you know. So I mean, yeah, it's fucking crazy what that does to your fucking brain, and everybody just knows it and is okay with it.
Yeah. It's like the same. It's the same thing with UFC, boxing, like all this shit. You know what I mean? Like we're all like, I don't know. It's just so crazy. We, as one part of our society, we're like, oh, you got to stop that. It's bad for you. And then on the other side of things, it's like, this is totally bad for you.
Yeah.
But pursue it as your lifelong goal.
Yeah. Beat your fucking brains in, and oh, by the way, we'll make it into $1 trillion industry.
Yeah.
You know, like it's fucking nuts.
If you murder, suicide your family, we'll just sweep it under the rug in the next news cycle, too.
Pretty much. Like, oh, what a tragedy. You know, thoughts and prayers, guys.
Dude, there's been so many great memes made of like people just like it would be like a dad being shown to be disappointed in his son or whatever, and they just cut to like Chris Benoit fucking like intro music. Yeah, it's great.
Have you seen the Costco dad or the Costco family on your?
I don't think so.
No,
nah.
They're like these YouTubers or social media people or whatever, and they're just like this obnoxious like New Jersey Italian family who have like stupid catchphrases that have to do with Costco, like, you know, it's a double chunk chocolate chip cookie, you know, that kind of shit. They're just fucking cornballs. But there's Tim Dillon. You know Tim Dillon?
Yeah.
He does like a bit on them or whatever where he's just like talking about them, and he's like, look in that father's eyes and tell me he isn't about to like fucking do Chris Benoit to that entire family.
Why? Because they're just like dragging him to Costco, and he's like the fucking ancillary.
Yeah, he's 100. Well, no, he's 100% like Joe Jacksoning this family, where it's just like, we are the Costco family now. All of you motherfuckers get aboard. Like, you know, you can tell he's like, he probably wanted to be famous his whole life, and now he's using his whole family to do it. You know.
This reminds me of another meme that I saw this week, and it just shows like a bunch of like Brittany Mahomes being Brittany Mahomes stuff, and then it just ends, and it's like 100%. Patrick Mahomes sits in his car before he goes into the house when he gets home from work every day. And I think like the same artist, he takes like photos of people doing like cringe things, and he like sketches them into like black and white drawings. And he did one of her just like doing like a selfie of like boasting that they won the game or whatever, and he turned it into like this demon looking like.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this guy's great. Follow. I need to see the rest of your artwork.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's an insane thing to say on a podcast that I'm attempting for people to watch on social media, but I think if you have like an inner desire to be like an influencer, you probably have like a mental illness. Like, I feel like I'm doing this because I think it's fun to talk to you about things, and maybe somebody else would enjoy hearing us talk about it. But like, I, at the end of the day, don't give one fuck if anyone ever watches this shit ever. You know, like, I feel like if I did, there's something wrong with you, you know?
If we did, I feel like inherently we'd be like 100% more driven to like not get to episode 19 and just be 2 cameras for the first time with a border in between.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
I feel like you need a healthy amount of like, I don't give a fuck, in order to not come across as like a fucking creep.
Like
on social media.
I honestly feel like that's what my problem is in my life with anything. Like anything that I start doing, I'm just like, this is so fucking gay. Like, what the fuck? What am I doing this for? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what. The only thing that I haven't given up on is.
Are you trying to tell me that it's gay to be on a podcast called Touching Tips?
Yes.
With another man?
Yes.
I don't know about that. That doesn't track.
I still want to see that logo, like.
The dick.
Yes,
touching?
But I want to see it turn. I want to see it hybridized with ours, where it's like the men have been turned into neon lights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I could do that.
Great. Yeah.
I'll get Diane on that.
We'll get her on it.
Yeah.
But like, next time you go to one of those music festivals, keep this art idea in mind.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we didn't talk about this funny thing. If we want to get a little restaurant stuff in, I had this funny thing happen where I'm waiting tables on Sunday like I always do, and there's a few places in this restaurant where it's like notoriously too cold. You know what I mean? Like the AC is just pouring down on them.
Yep.
So it's like getting towards the end of the night. You know, all the regulars are in there, lubed up, having fun. It's a Sunday, so it's, you know, football's been on all day. People are feeling their fucking Boston pride and all this shit. And these 3 guys come in. They don't know. It's like they've never been in a restaurant before, and I know they got accents. They're European as far as I know, right? The one kid, to set the scene, he's got a Yankees hat on, which isn't going to go over too well at the place that I'm working at. So they're like these three. I think they're French guys, like these three French dudes. They sit down. Now they're at my table, I get them a round of drinks, and now surprise, surprise, the Europeans are just not cut out for the air conditioning of America, and they want to move. So I go, look, move wherever you want. I don't fucking care. I'm trying to go home at this point. Like, it's probably like, I don't know, 45 minutes out from the kitchen doing last call. And it's like, I'm like, if I can fucking leave, I'm fucking out of here. So I'm hoping that they pick to sit at the bar instead of moving to another table. And that's what they do. They sit down at the bar. There's a guy that comes in. We fucking razz him up. We could tell him that he's a cripple. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he has to start using these, like, the arm canes now. You know what I mean?
And like, you're just making fun of him.
Well, he's like fucking regular. He likes it. He likes getting his balls busted. But he's like a big fucking Italian dude. You know what I mean? Like, he's like that guy that, like, he's like, hey, you know? So you fucking call him a cripple in fucking good spirits, and it's the best thing ever, you know? So this is the guy who starts fucking giving him all this shit. They sit down at the bar, and they're like, what are you doing with this fucking hat on? Like, they barely speak English, so they're like, now they're being all these timid
like,
people.
are we about to get into a fight?
Yes, and so now they figure out that this guy's just being
breaking balls.
He's just a character, you know what I mean? And eventually, blah blah blah, the whole thing happens. So eventually, it's not even the cripple guy, but somebody else says, "Hey, I don't give a fuck where you're from. Fuck the New York Yankees." And I was just like, I'm so happy that I stuck around to be able to hear that,
to witness that.
Like, that goes down in my history of great things that I've seen.
All right. Yeah. But isn't that spot's like, that's Johnston, right? Or is that
it's like on the way to Connecticut. So I feel like like,
I feel like you got Yankee fans down there.
But they're not in there. I don't know what it is. It's just like too country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like a little country bumpkin spot.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah.
The guys with the fuck, they don't come in there.
Yeah.
You know?
A bunch of union workers.
I guess, yeah. Or just like, you know, those 5 people just get drunk and fucking scare all the other guys out of there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, dude, that place, if you could be a fly on the wall in that place, man.
Well, every time I drive by it, it's fucking packed.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm saying like the after dinner crew that's in there is just like, they're just all the people who like have
no reason to live.
I guess. Yeah.
Salt of the earth.
Salt of the earth for sure. Like,
I would never want to be a regular anywhere. Do you understand that? Like, could you imagine showing up to the same bar like 3-4 times a week?
Dude, I do. I used to do that all the time at Congress Tavern. I walk in, they just give me my fake Heineken. They know. I was a regular at a bar and I don't even drink.
Yeah.
How terrible is that?
That is terrible. I don't I would never want that. Like, I feel like if anyone ever called me out by name, I would be like, I can't ever come here again.
Yeah, you've been out of the game for so long.
Yeah. Well, just in general, like, even when I was in the game, it's like, I never wanted to go to the same fucking place every fucking day and see the same goddamn people.
That's exactly
That's why I left the fucking town I grew up in, because that's what all those motherfuckers are still doing, you know? I could go back to the town I grew up in, and I guarantee you, I could go to the bar that everyone always used to go to, and they're all still fucking there. And it's like, dude, it's been 20 fucking years. What are you guys doing?
I don't know. It just all depends. I don't want to be bothered by the adventure.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go someplace where they're like, oh, that guy drinks that. He tips well. I'm going to give it to him right away.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be like my most annoying. Like, when we would go to after work to the place that used to be the Taylors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd be like, dude, what the fuck is taking so long?
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I could have had fucking 4 drinks already at the other spot.
Yeah.
That's the same 25 feet away. What are we doing?
I mean, to me, I would sacrifice that for the anonymity. Like, I don't want anyone to know what I'm drinking. I don't want anyone to know my name. As a matter of fact, I know you, was it you or Hyde Caverage that was giving me shit? I think one of you was, about like the picture I took. I went to the Red Sox game the other day. I wore a Patriots.
Dude, there's a lot of great stuff to unpack about your trip.
Well, I wore a Patriots hoodie there, and I think even my brother was just like, because I sent a picture to my brother, he was like, "What the fuck are you doing there in a Patriots hoodie?" And it's like, I want to blend in. Like, the last thing I want to do is to talk to anybody. And wearing, like, Lions shit or anyone else's shit to other stadium's ballpark is just inviting somebody to talk to you.
To, like, start calling you Owen or something.
Or just anything. I don't even want, like, friendly conversation. As a matter of fact, it worked out. It was a genius idea because the seats that we were sitting in, literally the family of 4 in front of us, the kid in front of me was wearing a Miguel Cabrera Detroit Tiger jersey, and his dad was wearing like a blue, like, long sleeve Lions shirt. And I'm like, beautiful. If I wore a Lions hoodie to this shit, that would have been like an invitation for this weird old Midwesterner to turn around and spend the next 2.5 hours talking to me.
Facebook friends for the rest of your life.
It's like, I'm here to fucking hang out with my kid. Like, I don't want to all I want to do is just be in a bubble. Wearing a Patriots jersey, like, or
nobody's got anything to talk
sweatshirt,
to you about,
exactly. I'm just another fucking loser from fucking, Springfield, Massachusetts.
Another schnook.
Exactly. So so that's why I did it. And also, I'm not here to rep like my teams like I'm in a fucking gang. Like,
that's what it is.
I don't understand that mentality. Like, first of all, I don't go to my team's games in opposing stadiums. I'll go to neutral teams in opposing, at stadiums, but I never want to go see a Mets game in Philadelphia. Why? Because I don't want to fist fight anyone the whole fucking time. Like, I want to sit there, enjoy a baseball game, and then leave without preferably getting my entire family fucking accosted,
That used to be a dream of mine.
What?
The road dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I did it. My boy and I, we went to see, we thought it was going to be the last Brady versus Manning matchup. So we went out to Denver to see it, and it ended up being Brock Osweiler instead.
Yeah.
And we fucking lose in overtime.
Yeah.
Right? So it was fun being like the visiting fan, you know what I mean? And then another time on Brady's homecoming here, I went to Foxborough in Tampa Bay stuff.
Yeah.
And that was like another, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is, Patriots fans are exactly what we say that they are.
Yeah.
And it's no fun. And it's a tale of two Ryans. Like, I drank on the other thing, loved being the villain, and then I didn't drink, and I was like, I fucking hate everybody
this.
here.
Yeah.
Why did I even come here?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
like,
the only experience I ever had actually going to a stadium, it was Lions Pats. My brother-in-law got me tickets to it because, he's a super nice guy, and he was just like, oh, well, they're here. We should go to that game. And I'm like, all right. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking, like, I'm literally going to dread doing this every single day up until the day we go, and then I'm going to hate every second of it. It was all right, but it was like, I'm in my Sioux jersey, Ndamukong Suh, and I'm in the stands, and what transpired was honestly best case scenario. The Patriots beat the ever-living fucking shit out of us so badly that nobody was talking shit to me the entire time. So it was just like, people are turning around and just being like, sorry. And it's like, yeah, I know. I root for this team. I get it, But it's just like, I could never imagine being like a Jets fan and showing up at Gillette and then having to win that game like 16-13. Dude, you better have a fucking limo waiting for you out front because you're going to get fucking killed coming out of that stadium.
Yeah.
Because
a bunch of drunk
by
monkeys
a bunch of sad pieces of
conquest.
shit who think that like their entire identity is tied to the winning or losing of their football team. It's like, you're a fucking idiot.
I had to get out, bro.
Yeah.
That was me. I was falling down. I was riding around the bowl.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine, like, I don't know what I would have to think of. Actually, I went to a Bruins game once with like a fucking stereotypical piece of shit New Englander. And there's like a dude
with Mr. Deeds.
Well, it was fucking Bruins Sabres, Buffalo Sabres. And a dude like 3 rows ahead of us was like in a Sabres jersey holding his baby, who was in like a little baby Sabres jersey. It was like a cute father-son moment or whatever. And my friend is literally just like heckling this fucking guy with a baby. And I'm like, what the fuck is the matter with you, dude? Like, he has a goddamn 9-month-old in his arms. Leave him the fuck alone, Oh my God. And they were winning like 5-1. So it was like, what is this bringing to the enjoyment of anything for anyone?
It's like, dude, you should be rooting for somebody on that team to get a hat trick so he has to throw the baby on the ice.
That'd be wild.
Fucking launch that baby.
I mean, honestly, if you're fucking heckling a dude holding a baby at a professional sports game, like, you should really just be rooting for a car to hit you and to just like be out like that in the blink of a light. Like, at that point in time, you should just die.
I've been that person, man. You get fucking drunk. Like, you get drunk, alcohol turns you mean, and you're in a group, you know what I mean? Like, the mob mentality takes over. Like,
yeah. When you're at a football game or when you're at a sports game, like you can 100% see how motherfuckers get killed, because of mobs.
How the witches got fucking burnt.
Yeah. And then you wake up the next morning, you're like, we took it a little too far, didn't we, guys?
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Like, you remember yelling at that female Ravens fan for 3 quarters? Like, yeah.
I do. Yeah.
She probably hates guys from Boston now.
Oh yeah. That's just it. Like you're just going around dispersing fucking, just letting people know that like New England is not the place for you.
Me kind of making that little Peter Griffin voice that I just did there brings me to something that I want to reveal about a possible theft that I think has occurred.
Okay.
In the illustration world.
All right.
And I just feel like there was a time in my life, I want to say it was Hustler, maybe it was Penthouse, it could have been Playboy. It was one of those top 3 adult magazines where I saw a political cartoon of 2 cavemen like peering over a rock, and they're looking at a T-Rex, and the T-Rex is like trying to reach his dick and he just can't. And the cavemen are saying to each other, "That why T-Rex so mean. Him can't jerk off."
Yeah.
And I was trying to find this to screenshot the political cartoon to send to you for whatever we were talking about through text.
Yeah.
So I Googled it and I couldn't find it. What I came across was Family Guy essentially taking that scene and animating it for their own
yeah. I mean, that's.
I just want it to be known. I feel like as a Rhode Islander, you'd be like, oh, the fucking Family Guy, Rhode Island. And it's like this dude's fucking stealing content from fucking
just ripping off Hustler magazines from 1979.
No, it wasn't that old, dude. I had current stuff.
Had current stuff?
Yeah.
But what do you consider current? First of all, do they even make magazines anymore?
At the time, it was current. Like, I saw this, dude.
At the time, anything is current. But if it was fucking 30 years ago, like, how old was the magazine? What's the statute of limitation on a joke? At a certain point in time,
bro.
At a certain point in time, nobody's going to remember that joke unless you fucking retell it in some other medium.
Yes, maybe he's got it listed on the bibliography for Family Guy or something, but.
Well, you may have unlocked
a deep dive to take. Yeah, like you go buy like a bunch of vintage Hustlers and it's just Family Guy.
It's all Family Guy episodes.
You're like, I thought he was a genius.
Son of a bitch.
Fucking typical Rhode Islander, just stealing.
Yeah,
just stealing stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just had to unearth that.
Well, I'm glad that you exposed both that Seth MacFarlane is a joke thief and that you read and absorb entirely too much Hustlers magazines.
I don't know, man. There used to be some good political cartoons in like the dirtier of the pornography magazines.
Yeah.
Somebody should make a coffee table book about it.
Yeah. Well, now, like, I don't even know who owns Playboy. Is Playboy even a thing anymore? Or did they, like, fucking liquidate it? Because at this point, Hep's dead. I don't think he had. Did he have it? Or no, he ended up having a kid, right?
I think it's a thing again. Yeah, he has kids. It's a thing again. For a while,
I don't think he has kids. I think he has a kid, right?
I don't know.
I think he only had one with, like, the last girl he was sleeping with. Like, he was one of those, like, weird, like, 87-year-old dads.
Nah, because I think he had. There was some other girl that he was married to when I was in high school, and I remember, like, reading about how they had a kid.
No, well, I think that was the one that, like, was trying to get him to have a kid and then never ended up doing it.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because she was the one that was, like, on that show. You remember that fucking the show with the 3 broads or whatever? She was the head one, and she was always trying to get Hef to give her the baby. Never would. And then he leaves her. Next girl gets the baby. Yeah. So.
Yeah, dude, that's good. I've like done not like a deep dive, but I've heard a few interviews and shit about like the nonsense that used to go on over there, and they were like, dude, like basically like he had like one girl whose whole job was to just change the condom.
Yeah,
like he would just take a Viagra, lay down on his bed, and there would be just like a line of broads that just come and like ride him for a little bit, and then the girl changes his fucking shit. Next. Like that's crazy.
I don't know, man. That's like
that, dude. He died at like the right time.
Yeah, no kidding.
He died at the perfect,
right ahead of
time.
the storm.
Yeah, to not have to
deal with the repercussions of all that shit.
Like it's almost like the Bill Burr bit about the Clippers owner.
Yeah,
it's like, what did you think he thought?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like Hef is just like you hear all these stories and you're like, he definitely had to die at the right time.
Yeah. I mean, that whole, like, Entourage era of, like, the Playboy Mansion, like, what is it, like, 98 to 2005 or whatever?
Yeah.
I feel like that must have been, like, the last gasp.
The last hurrah.
Yeah, so like, but all the dudes you always saw over there, like now looking back on it, you're like, ugh. Like Fred Durst was definitely into dirty shit.
That was like the first guy I thought of when you brought that up. I was like, yeah, Fred, my boy Fred Durst.
Yeah, like anybody who was like spending significant amount of times at the Playboy Mansion between like 1997 and 2003, it's like, you're probably a complete piece of shit, you know?
I feel like there's some stories about people telling stories about interacting with Trump.
Oh, 100%.
Over there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, there's so many fucking funny memes about, like that one picture where like he sees somebody recording him and he's like, and they like turn it into like, when I see my regular when I'm 5 deep at the bar, but this guy brings me food on Thanksgiving, and you're like giving him his drink. Like,
is that Trump doing it? I don't know this meme. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's more like a reel, not a meme. But it's like Trump realizes like that like somebody's like recording him. You know what I mean,
it just kind of gives him the finger gun,
and he just like,
yeah, all right,
just total hamming up the situation.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like there's no way that he wins.
I don't know. After he got shot, I would have thought I would have said there was no way he was going to lose. But I don't know. You never know, man, cuz like I feel like people just underestimate like how pissed off like everyone is like in the rest of the country that isn't like in a metro area, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also do think there's a large part of the population who, while they won't openly say it, would never vote for a woman. I don't think it's a coincidence that I think it was absolutely the way it was always going to happen was that there's going to be a black male president before there's going to even be a white female president.
Yeah.
And then obviously Kamala Harris being the black female. But part of me just still doesn't believe that anyone is going to actually vote for her. You know, they might say it like out loud, but then when the curtain closes and they're up against that fucking voting machine, like, are they actually going to do it? I don't know. I've heard dudes though that sit at the bar, guys who like I didn't expect that shit to come out of their mouth, be like, I will never vote for a woman for president. Like I've heard that come out of dudes' mouths, you know, which to me like makes it even worse because that's the shit that you're willing to say like at a fucking bar. Like, could you imagine somebody sitting in a bar saying like I would never vote for a black guy for president? Like you'd be like, I don't know, dude. You probably can't say that shit out loud.
I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess I
could
at the
one place that I work at.
But yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But I just wish she wasn't so insufferable. She really is just a complete patronizing. Like I wish it was anybody else.
She just seems like a fucking like.
She seems like she's just like a fucking robot that they just turn on and off.
Like my problem is she just doesn't seem to like have any. She doesn't know anything about anything. Yeah. Like all of her responses are like these like just
canned responses,
tripping over her words. Yeah. Like I don't know. I just unless like I feel like there is like it's minimal. But I feel like there is a piece of me that wants to be like, no, like Trump is like the insider. You know what I mean? He's not part of the Roman circus, da 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 da. But like, if that was the case, he would have been dead already.
Yeah.
Like they would have killed him. Like if he was on par with like JFK and Martin Luther King and all these other guys that were like, just be nice to each other and stop involving ourselves in foreign wars and all this other shit. They would have fucking ate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, JFK got killed by the mob.
He would have been killed. But dude, have we never talked about that?
Have we?
I don't think we have. I think we have.
In terms of conspiracy theories, that's the only one I really subscribe to. Like JFK was killed by the mafia. I don't think there's any other question about it. Maybe it was like a tandem effort. Maybe it was like the CIA also was like, hey, on top of that, like we don't like him either. We'll help you out. But like I think that was 100% mafia driven.
The CIA was like, nah, the Hell's Angels can do the security for this.
Yeah, well, that was
with the mob. You know what I mean? Like they're like, nah, you guys can help. You can help. This will never be traced back to us. You guys are bad guys already.
Well, do you know the story behind why it was rumored that JFK was killed by the mob?
I know that there is some conspiratorial connection to that, but the stuff that I've looked into more is that he it was more of like he wanted to dissolve either like the FBI or the CIA. Like he was like saying that there was too much government. Like there was too much problems in government, and like basically just like the the Black Ops or whoever were just like, get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
And that's how it went down.
I mean, to me, the explanation I've kind of always clung to, or the one that makes the most sense to me, is that so Traficante is in Cuba right before like the Cuban Revolution, right before Castro takes over and shit, and they turn Havana into like a Vegas of the Caribbean. Like a bunch of mobsters have like a ton of money tied up into like casinos and resorts and shit like that. Like, that's like the fuck, what the hell's his name? Bugsy. Fuck, I can't remember his name. But it was like, he was a mobster or whatever, he was down there. And the bottom line is, though, Traficante and all these mobsters have a bunch of money tied up into Cuba. They all get thrown off the island, though, once Castro takes over, right? So Castro comes in, he turns the fucking island into a communist fucking regime, takes over, throws out all of the foreign money, and they're all fucked. So all of this money that they've poured into, like, boosting this economy, building these resorts, building these casinos, they're just fucked. They're out of it. So Traficante and all these mobsters get together and they say, all right, well, let's get fucking Joe's son to fucking get him in the presidency, and we'll try and open Cuba back up, right? Joe Kennedy, famous, like, bootlegger, Prohibition era, like, not a gangster necessarily, but, like,
know some people.
Well, he's like, you ever see Boardwalk Empire? Like,
nah.
No. So he's not like a gangster per se, but he is profiting off of the illegal sales of booze. And he's, rubbing shoulders and whatnot with all of the fucking mobsters and shit. So let's get Joe's fucking kid, this kid fucking Jack. Let's get him in the fucking presidency. If we do that, we'll fucking open up Cuba and we'll try and get fucking Castro out. So they do that. All the unions, all the Teamsters and shit, they're all back in JFK for presidency. And mind you, this was back in the period of time where, like, Democrats weren't like the progressive party that they are today. Like, in terms of, like, all of these, like, civil reforms, and, like, they weren't the People's Party, quote unquote, like they were, or they are now considered, So, like, getting the unions and the Teamsters and shit, like, behind the Democratic Party was actually, like, kind of a crazy thing back then.
Yeah.
But they did it. So they got all of the unions to back JFK. JFK gets elected president because of his backing of all of the unions and all that shit. So he gets elected president. What happens? They do the Bay of Pigs. They're going to go in, they're going to oust Castro, and all of the mobster buddies of his are going to be able to, like, go back to Cuba, and hey, I get you in, you get me in, right? Last second, JFK backs out of the Bay of Pigs, right? That's when that fucking massacre happened. Do you know about the Bay of Pigs?
Nah.
So the Bay of Pigs is basically, we're going to arm, like, all of these fucking Cuban refugees. We're going to arm them all and fucking train them, and, like, with, like, help from, like, the U.S. government, we're going to send them back to Cuba, like, storming the beaches of Normandy style, and we're taking Cuba back. We're going to get there. We're going to raid the Castro's mansion. We're going to fucking kill him. We're going to oust him, and we're going to install the government that we want in Cuba, right? But at the last second, the U.S. government just backs out. So they've sent all of these Cuban refugees to basically just get slaughtered. So they just show up and they're just fucked. Like, the fucking Castro's guys just murder everybody, right? And they just solidify. That's basically, like, that was the moment where Castro was able to be like, I beat the fucking U.S. government. You can't touch me forever.
Yeah.
That's what, like, planted his flag in the sand, So, but the reason that they did that was because JFK didn't want to risk the fucking global, like, fucking fallout from what that would mean, like, coming to a fucking communist country and fucking basically, like, crippling their government, like, with that whole Cold War shit,
like a war with Russia's pretty much next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, once he backed out of that, Traficante and all them were like, yo, what the fuck, dude? We got you elected president under the assumption you were gonna fucking do this.
Yeah.
So at that point, they kind of took that, like, hood mobster mentality where they're like, you fuck us, dude. We got you, And, Jack Ruby, remember, who Jack Ruby is? The dude who kills Oswald?
Yeah.
So, and then, Jack Ruby was, like, tied in with all of the mobsters and shit. Why was he killing Oswald? Because he was just, like, so sad that JFK got killed? No, because they fucking were like, yo, you got to kill that motherfucker before he starts talking about, like, where he, like, how he got, like, down to Dallas, how he got the fucking gun to the depository. Like, who fucking was planning this whole shit? You got to get to that motherfucker before somebody starts talking, So that to me is like that is like, once I heard that theory, I was like, oh shit, that's just 100% what happened.
Follow the money. It's always the money.
Yeah, they so I think the mob 100% killed JFK.
What about the fucking Vegas shooting? You ever dive into that?
No.
At the country music thing?
Oh yeah, well I remember it. I don't remember why. What was that? Was that a thing?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense on that.
Okay.
Like I guess there's I gotta find it. There's this one guy that I follow that like shares a lot of this stuff. He puts it up. It's like you Google it and it's like the fourth one down that you go to, and somebody made like an interactive map of like all of the body cams, the police reports, everything from that day.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of like inconsistencies and stuff, like saying, it was basically there's no way that like one guy just shot all these people and did all this stuff out of the window.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of like sound recordings and stuff, and like the guns don't sound like what they claim the guns to be. And it's just very interesting.
All right. Well, what would be the purpose of then covering it up? What do you think it was? Or what's the prevailing theories what was going on?
This happened around the same time as like, if you want to put all these things into one thing, like the Sandy Hook thing, the Pulse nightclub thing, like, I don't know. It's just all like trying to get people to like vilify guns.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or like somebody was at this concert that did a bunch of cancer research or something. I don't know.
Fauci out here killing people.
Yeah. Or like, that plane, there's some Bolivian or Brazilian plane crash or something like that recently. And there are like a bunch of people on board who are like the leading cancer research scientists in the world.
Really?
That's like the big thing about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's led me down this thing of like, all right, what are these other famous plane crashes and who was on board with this? But I keep getting stuck on that, like MH 370 or whatever it is, like the one that crashed and they never found it.
Yeah.
Like that's, that there's two guys with two Iranians with stolen passports on that flight.
Really?
And you never hear about that. Yeah, you're giving it the really. You don't know.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
Like that's wild. How is that not the number one? Like, wait a minute. There's two guys with stolen passports on this flight and they're from where?
Yeah.
And this isn't, they're like, I just crashed.
I mean, I could definitely believe that there's like some sort of like, deep state kind of thing that's like trying to stop us from like, I think they're honestly probably trying to stop us from doing things that like we don't necessarily understand the ramifications of. Like if you want to talk straight numbers, what would happen if tomorrow just cancer's cured? You give it maybe 10 years before we absolutely blow through all of our natural resources. Like, there's only a certain amount of things that keep like the population in check enough for us to continue to survive in like a human society. Like, if all of a sudden cancer just didn't kill people, like we would overpopulate in probably a matter of like years, not even decades.
I think that we're just fucking doomed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're just if you boil all my conspiracy theories down to something, it's like we're just a fucking bioengineered project that broke containment. Like, we're just a fucking slave race that was made to mine gold, and they were like, this asteroid's coming, and it's gonna fuck this place up, and they're all gonna die. And then they're like, just nothing kills these fucking things. Like, we cannot eradicate them down to nothing. And they just keep hoping that, like, all right, a solar flare is gonna get them, and they're like, well, they fucking found the caves that we dug, and they fucking live in there now. And you know what I mean? It's just like, I just don't think that you can, like, whatever mix of stuff that they put together, it's like we're just two, like, tribalistic, like, chimpanzee parts of the fucking genome to ever have this, like, world culture for everybody to live to be forever and do the right thing and have a moral high ground. And, like, I don't think that the human race is ever going to make it there in a, what would you call that? Like a great awakening? Yeah. Like where, like we're going to come off of money and we're going to come off of power and we're going to come off of, like, it's just never going to happen. It's always going to be like two contingencies against each other.
Yeah. Or many contingencies. You can make the argument that we're 8 billion contingencies working against each other.
If you go and, the Decepticons go and win out, there's always going to be a fucking Starscream trying to cut Megatron's head off. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to break down into like another.
It's always going to come down to Transformers.
Two fractions.
Like, I didn't realize Transformers was such an allegory.
It is.
Yeah.
All of science fiction, I feel like, is an allegory.
Yeah.
Like Men in Black, it's like, we'll make a movie about it.
Yeah.
And we'll put it on their Burger King cups and they'll fucking love it.
It's going to be a fucking $1 million franchise and it'll just be all about like how we fucking erase all your memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will Smith ties it to bring it back into like the Hollywood P. Diddy shit.
Scientology shit. That's definitely some weird shit going on there.
There's like rumors that like somebody walked in on like Will Smith fucking one of his like male friends from like way back in the day.
I could definitely
like
see
when
that.
they were like in their teens.
Yeah.
You know, like there's just been this thing like, oh, Will Smith's a fucking homo, and like just nobody talks about it. And I saw this other thing about how back in the day before there was like the East Coast West Coast beef, that a lot of people thought Tupac and Puffy were like low key partners.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And like the whole East Coast West Coast thing kind of came about because they had like a breakup or some shit.
That would be the least gangster thing ever.
Can you imagine that, dude? That's like the fucking Judas Priest of like of the R&B industry or rap industry, you know what I mean?
So basically like their theory is that the entire East Coast West Coast thing was like the breaking up of Wham pretty much.
I don't know. How do you know? Why do you know about Wham?
Because wake me up before you go, man.
Suspect. Fucking George Michael.
I mean, I don't need to prove anything to you. I've told you outright that I would be gay for billions of dollars. Yeah. I don't think that should be a hot take.
That is a hot take.
I disagree. Like I said, if I could go back in time and get raped by P. Diddy and own the Toronto Raptors, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Vince never would have left.
Exactly.
Where's
Kawhi Leonard at?
Do you remember the surroundings of Vince Carter leaving the Toronto Raptors?
Yeah, wasn't it just that the Nets fucking paid him more money?
I guess.
I mean, I'm assuming that's what it was.
Sick of living in Canada?
Yeah.
I don't see how you could get sick of
sick of socialized medicine.
The bonuses acquired of you being like a fucking NBA superstar in a sea of white women in Canada have to far outseed. Like he's like, you want me to move to New Jersey?
Yeah.
You want me to leave this for New Jersey?
Yeah.
That's another great meme I saw. Like a bunch of great pictures of Italy, and they're like, your great grandmother fucking had this and chose to come to New Jersey instead. Yeah. You're welcome. Now you're stuck here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I get why Irish people left. Why the fuck did everyone else in Europe leave? Mussolini? Like Irish people were straight up starving to death. Was it? No, that was pre-Mussolini.
Bro, that brings me up to like another funny thing that I've seen. Like people do this as like a joke where it's like their older German grandparents or whatever. They're like, I don't know, they're like in a nursing home or they're like they're celebrating their like 100th birthday or something, and they put on like the fucking like the Third Reich music, and they like fall right back into character and start doing like Nazi salutes and shit.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's wild.
I feel like that's kind of just mean. When I'm 90, when I'm 95 years old, I'm not gonna wear the fuck I am. If somebody puts on like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think it's just like the jokester of the family being like, watch this, and like not expecting it to happen, but like they're like,
then it does.
Record this just in case, because everybody's like, oh shit, like they're doing. It's not like they're doing it because they know their grandfather helped Melvin Gilville kill himself or whatever.
Herman Goering.
Herman Goering. Let's get his
Melville.
name.
What'd you say?
Melville Gilville.
I wish for once you would put in half of the amount of effort to learn about an actual historical figure than you do just like telling people that Ghislaine Maxwell is related to Anthony Fauci.
She is. You know? I saw it on Instagram one time.
Oh my god.
I don't think she's not. Ghislaine Maxwell is not related to Anthony Fauci. She's his sister-in-law.
Well, she's not even that. I mean,
no, it's true. It's all true.
It's just not.
She looks like him.
Yeah, I don't know if that matters.
That's funny. That guy like who does, do you know the guy that I'm talking about who does like he says that Jim Morrison is Rush Limbaugh now?
I mean, I don't know that guy, but now I know him because I watched half of that video just being angry.
Yeah. I didn't know if I sent it to you or not, but basically he does this thing where he does like a facial scan, right? Yeah. So he take like our faces and like put them next to each other like this and like, well, they match. And it's like, well, bro, how many there's only so many fucking chromosomes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody's got to have like.
Well, that and also before you get to that stage, like I was telling you on this thing. By the way, this is based on some fucking crackpot's theory that like Rush Limbaugh is like Jim Morrison didn't die in whatever it was 1981. He instead became a fucking conservative radio talk show host, Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, because he's installed by the deep state. They're just these actors.
Why? You could just get a guy and make him Rush Limbaugh. Why does it have to be Jim Morrison?
Because he's already trained.
Oh my god, I can't do this. What would be the point of taking Jim Morrison and being like, we're gonna fake your death and then install you as Rush Limbaugh. So that way, what? You could, like, talk to people on morning radio in 1987?
You're lucky that I do not have a WWF comparison. But sometimes people become different characters.
Oh, my God.
All I really got is bad Hulk Hogan. But I know for a fact that somebody was this guy before, and now
they become somebody else.
Yeah, he's just a talented deep state actor. So they're like, why are we going to train somebody when this guy already knows what's up? He did his mission with the Doors. We buried him. Mission complete. Now, fucking what's his next objective?
Oh, my God.
Jason Bourne doesn't just do one mission, bro.
Sure, but once you get to, like, if you're Jason Bourne, though, and you become the goddamn leader of a fucking, one of the most famous 1970s rock bands, you're like, well, you are going to be retired. We could just get somebody else to do this.
Yeah, I don't know.
And also, what was his mission on either of those? To, like, get drunk and beat up his girlfriends? Like,
I don't know. I don't know much about Jim Morrison.
Yeah. Jim Morrison is just a fucking drunk, fucking
Brennan
poetic
does because
loser.
He is a rock and roll historian.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Doors were overrated. They were all right, I guess.
I mean, I'll take like the top 5 hits on like my classic rock playlist.
Yeah, but even then,
they can stay there.
Even then, they're like, you know, he has like the Riders in the Storm where it's like, yeah, it's a cool song for the first like 3 minutes. Then like 11 minutes later, you're like, is this motherfucker still talking? Like, what is happening right now? You know? It's like just a drunk fucking pretentious twat. It's basically who Jim Morrison was.
I've never listened to the Doors while overdosing on NyQuil, so I just never know the rage associated with. I don't know, but this guy has other good. I gotta find him. We're gonna work next on.
If you
like
develop a conspiracy
37.
theory that Jim Morrison isn't dead, he's in fact Rush Limbaugh. It's like you're just trolling people at that point.
Yeah, but this guy has like other stuff though too. He's got one about Michael Jackson.
What about Michael Jackson?
I don't know who this other guy is. It's like Michael Jackson's friend, but then you do like a voice analysis on him, and it's like the same thing. It's even creepier than the Rush Limbaugh one. But he's got this dude isn't like some. Well, he's a crackpot, but he's got like he's probably been putting content out for a while.
Yeah.
Like you go to his page, like there's a bunch of scrolling to be done.
I mean, that just means that he doesn't have much else going on in his life.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have.
I feel like I'm losing you at this point.
No,
you know that, right? Like, watch a couple more Patriot games. It's not that bad to be a part of like the deep state. All right.
I don't want to be a part of the deep state.
Oh my God. Just not everything you see on the internet is true. Just remember that.
Dude, I'm not saying that it's true.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to bring up compelling content.
All right. Yeah.
Or something to think about. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like at the end of the day, I'm not a fucking engineer.
Yeah.
But I do know that shit appears to be falling at a free fall rate. You know, I'm just saying, like some shit doesn't fucking make sense.
I want you to have like the balloon. I do. I want you to be up there, but I want to be the guy holding you. You know, like just keep in the stratosphere here, pal.
This is what I wanted to reel it into about this. When you started talking about going to the Red Sox game,
yeah,
right? Like who that day. Somebody sent us, was that Lana that sent us a picture of
red balloon?
Of that toy shop? That was her that sent us that?
It wasn't me, yeah.
So it had to be her. So she sent that. I think maybe she sent that to me.
Yeah.
And then I put it in a group chat and sent it to all of us, right? And then you send us the picture back of being at the game. And then later on, you send a perfectly framed picture of like Fenway. With
the balloon right over it.
With a red balloon, bro. Like we need to frame that and incorporate it into the new...
Yeah.
The new backdrop.
My son was the one who spotted it too. He's like, "Look, there's a balloon." And I look up and it was a red balloon right over Fenway. I was like, "Holy shit!"
That's funny. Weird. I can imagine. Right? You ever see the scene in like Louis, where like he makes his kids listen to like this Rush song while they're like driving?
No.
And he's like playing the drums and everything with them and shit. But I feel like on the car ride home from Fenway, you're like, "All right, boys, cue up the red balloon. We're all gonna watch it together."
Yeah. Balloon.
That would be funny to like record their reaction, just be like, we're gonna watch a piece of cinematic history right now, and then just have them be like,
and have them fucking hate every second of it. Yeah,
just they're like itching because they can't look at the tablet.
Dude, that movie didn't hold my interest fucking 30 years ago. Now that there's fucking Marvel movies, it definitely won't hold their interest.
I just can't think of anything other than like it's just literally the kid. It's just like changing scenes, right?
Yeah, it's just him going through whatever is Paris or whatever, like looking for this fucking balloon. Yeah,
it's got to be a deeper meaning.
Yeah, I mean, it probably just goes back to the, pedophilia ring of
Would you give
of
up
Hollywood.
that butt to own the Toronto Raptors?
Yeah.
Balloon.
And I would. So if P. Diddy ever gets out, just so you know, P. Diddy, for
Your
like
butt would be
for
ballooned.
like not even a controlling stake in an NBA franchise, like I'm talking like give me 3%. 3% of the Toronto Raptors. I will 100%.
And you don't even like basketball.
I don't. Yeah.
What would you do for a sport that you actually enjoy?
I mean, things you couldn't even imagine. Just saying.
You ever see the take of like the I think it's like the new GM of the Giants or something, and he has like his kids in his office, and he like asks him who he wants him to draft, and his like oldest son's like, "You're only gonna get this job once. You might as well swing for the stars."
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
But I think it's like a classic example of like your
I think
kid-
you wanted him to take like Caleb Williams too. It's like you don't even know
I
what the
think
fuck you're
I think
talking
they're
about,
saying
kid.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, he just had a nice coming out game.
Kid wasn't wrong.
Yeah. But
Neighbors looks pretty good though too.
yeah. Also, though, the kid, it's like a classic, like the dad, like looking at his kids being like, you don't know how to fucking do my job at all. I have $40 million stuck in Daniel Jones. I can't take a fucking
Exactly.
quarterback right now. What are you doing?
It's like you want to find me a trade partner as well and take on that contract, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even find that. Does anybody want to fuck my kid to take Daniel Jones?
Jesus.
Because clearly he's going to grow up to be an idiot.
Go back to your coloring books, you fucking moron.
We ever talk about a wonderful coloring book that I received one time as a child?
No, I don't think so.
I feel like we have. So one time I went to D'Angelo's as a child,
Yeah.
and you know you get like a fucking coloring book as part of like the kids meal or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know what possessed my stepdad to start looking through it first, or no, I think I started looking through it, and I noticed that somebody had like modified it.
Yeah.
So it was a coloring book based on like the Three Little Pigs,
Yeah.
but they like turned the fucking big bad wolf into like a Nazi. Like there are all kinds of like swastikas and shit drawn
Yeah.
throughout this book.
So it was like pre-written in? Yeah.
Yeah, like somebody, like obviously the two line cooks are like, yeah, this will be funny. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They're like working on it together, and they're like, yo, did you fucking put
it
that,
back
like,
in rotation?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
and my stepdad took it from me like pretty quickly into the thing. I was like a little kid, so I didn't know what it was at the
Yeah.
time. You know what I mean? But I remember there was a time later in my life where my brother's 9 years younger than me, so I would torture him as like a kid.
Yeah.
And I had this Ultimate Warrior toy, and the voice box was going on it. So when you would pull the string, it would sound just like demonic. And
Yeah.
for whatever reason, my brother was terrified of it. So my stepdad,
I'm terrified of the normal Ultimate Warrior voice. But
yeah. Well, this is like it
Yeah.
sounded almost like
Yeah.
a fucking Mickey Mouse, like you know what I mean? It's all like undertoned and
Yeah.
and so my stepdad catches me torturing his son with this thing, you know what I mean? And he fucking grabs it. I'm like trying to get it back from him. And he opens up like the filing cabinet that he like always kept his guns in and shit.
Yeah.
And I remember him like pulling it out and like throwing the Warrior in there. And I saw like the corner of that coloring book. So even he was like, this is so good that I'm
keeping it.
saving it for
Yeah.
like years afterwards. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
Like, so yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it made it through. There was a hurricane that destroyed our house. That's how my family like broke up and came back to Rhode Island.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he was like, I gotta.
It's got to come back with us.
No,
Yeah.
'cause my stepdad stayed.
Oh.
So I wonder if
gotcha.
he like went back to like the house after it was all demolished and was like, it made it.
Yeah.
It made it.
Yeah.
Or he probably just took the whole filing cabinet full of guns and it was already pre-packed with the Warrior and
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah. You
That's what
blew it.
happened.
Yep.
He blew it.
Yeah.
So what's up? It's like
Nothing.
an hour worth of content there.
Well, we also started a little later too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's about right.
And you got to be on your way.
Yeah, ish soon. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else.
I always yell at this one kid in my fantasy football league about being a fat fuck and being excited about the McRib, and I made some comment about it in the group chat. So as a public service announcement, I'll give it to everybody. It's coming back on October 16th.
Fuck, I will be there.
Be there waiting in line.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, on that note,
The McRib's back, guys.
like,
All right?
share, and subscribe for fucking McRib.
Yep.
Fuck you.
There you go.
See ya.
Later, guys.